Hey everyone, it's Elisa, and this is the first installment of RSI in the online classroom. And I really shouldn't say online classroom because really the suggested things that we are doing with regular and substantive interaction are applicable to any class regardless of the instructional modality. So if you teach both face-to-face and online and even hybrid, all of these techniques and ideas that we're going to be discussing and implementing in our classrooms should be done in all of our classrooms. And so when they start talking about RSI, the key thing to remember is that it's not just a mandate that, HLC and the Department of Education is just putting on us because they don't think we're doing a good job, right? The idea behind RSI and why they are putting an emphasis on it since, 2021, is because the reason we're here is to educate our students, right? And so the research has shown that the engagement, regular and substantive interactions that we have with our students on a daily basis, whether we're seeing them face to face or in an online environment, is really important to their success, right? So these principles are consistent with the principles of student-centered learning. And so that's the goal. So my first tip that I want to talk about, I like to call it the low-hanging fruit, is office hours. So here's the discussion around office hours. Some people say it counts as RSI, other people say it doesn't count. But here's the problem that we're going to run in with RSI. Everyone, or most everyone, will say, well, I offer office hours. Every day I have an hour, and the students just don't come. But I'm doing RSI, right? Okay, but think about what you just said, if you said that. You offer office hours, but the students don't come. So why would that be considered your RSI? The students have chosen that they don't participate in that particular offering. And so we're not really reaching them, right? And so what we want to do is think about what we can do to improve those office hours so that we can reach those students and offer support that they might be needing. Now, if none of your students need help, they're all acing your class, then it's probably okay to say that your office hours are RSI. But let's take a quick look at what I did to my office hours to change it so that I could feel good about calling my office hours my RSI. Okay, so before we jump into that, let's just take a quick reminder of what the definition of regular and substantive interaction is. So, substantive interaction refers to engaging students in teaching, learning, and assessment consistent with the content under discussion and includes at least two of the following instructor activities: providing direct instruction, assessing or providing feedback on a student's coursework, providing information or responding to questions about content of a course or competency, facilitating a group discussion regarding the content of a course or competency, and other instructional activities approved by the institution or program's accrediting agency. We haven't gotten that far for the last one yet, so let's focus on these four. And we can choose any two. As long as we have two of these in our class, we're going to be fine. So how would office hours work with that? Well, we could be assessing and providing feedback during office hours if students were to show up. We could be providing information and responding to questions if students were to show up. We can also provide direct instructions in office hours if students were to show up. But if we all say they don't show up, then we're really not serving them in that capacity with office hours. So let's take a quick look at what I'm trying to do to make office hours more meaningful for my students. All right, so in my Journalism 201 news writing class, this is my syllabus. And on my syllabus at the top, I list my office hours. Now what's new is that on Monday for 30 minutes, 10:30 to 11, we will have live online weekly lecture office hours. And here's a link. The students can click to go into my Zoom room and they can join me live, right? So are they going to show up? I don't know yet. Let's see. Now, I don't want to just rely on my students to see this and say, oh, my teacher's going to be online live. I'm going to join her every Monday at 10:30. I need to figure out ways to entice them to come. Now, later in the semester, when students start to struggle, this will be that time where I can require that those that are struggling would meet me. And then obviously, if they can't meet me during that time, I have office hours they can schedule to meet me as well. So over on my modules page, each unit is a week. So the week page, when students go in, they are required to mark this done. So they're at least going to open this up, hopefully, and read what's on this page. But what they will discover on this page is that there's an overview of what we'll be doing this week, but the first thing that they'll see for Monday is that they can join me. But if for some reason they get here after 10:30 and they didn't join me, they can click this link and they will be able to see a recording of the session. Now, I don't record all 30 minutes of it. For instance, if students come and they're answering questions, but I'm going to devote at least 10 to 15 minutes of some direct instruction. And so by providing that direct instruction, that is going to count as RSI. The other thing that I do within this recording is I entice students to attend or to at least watch the recording by offering perks. I call it a one-day get out of jail free card, where they can submit an assignment late if they have the code that I've given them in the video. I give them quiz answers. They take the AP style book quizzes each week to learn the AP style for journalism, and I'm giving them answers in some of these videos. The other thing that I do is I make it personal to the students in this particular section of the class. So it's only the first day, and students have already started introducing themselves in the discussion forum, and so I'm pulling out some of that information and saying hi to them and bringing up things that they said to me. I have a student who's at Paradise Valley, and so I was teasing him about not being a gaucho, but he's welcome here anyway, things like that, and it makes it personal. So if we go back and look at our list of what makes it RSI, I spent 10 minutes lecturing on some important aspects of being a journalist, so that's providing direct instruction. I wasn't assessing or providing feedback on any coursework because they haven't done anything yet, but I was providing information and responding to questions about content or course of the course and or competencies. I did have a couple of students who made comments in their introductions about what they were hoping to learn, so I provided some additional information about that in this quick interaction. So here's the key thing too. It has to be regular, so students will know where it is and what's going to happen. So what makes it regular is that this page, the students every Monday will click on this page and they'll see the recordings for each week. We go back and look at the page prior to this one. These weekly overview pages tell students that they can join me live or they can click the link to see the lecture. Students will know after the second, third week that this is a pattern that repeats. They can join me every Monday at 10:30, right? If they can't make it at 10:30, they can click this link and they can watch a recording. They will also know that there's enticements for them to do so. They know they can ask questions. Anytime I get a question via email, this is where I will address it for the whole class and so forth. So that's how I've turned just sitting in my office or at home for an hour waiting for students to come and visit me to something that fits more readily with RSI. So again, that's just one option. There are lots of others. Next week we'll share another option with you. You can either use your office hours in the way that you normally do, or you can work on making them more relevant to fit the needs of your students, or you can do whatever you want to do. They're going to have a lot of options because remember, we only have to have at least 2 of these, and most of us are doing that already. The key thing will be communicating to both our students that this is what we're doing and this is going to be helpful for them, and also communicating so that HLC will know that GCC is on the ball and working on improving their RSI in their online courses. All right, that's it for this week. If you have any questions, let me know.